Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connects Friday Night Live stream. We hope you all had a good week. And I'll start off with a comment. If it don't have a steel guitar, is it really country?
Nope.
No.
How was your week, CW?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. Sorry I missed everybody last week. A little under the weather. Just didn't feel good. It hit me hard about an hour before the show, and I said, I'm not going to be on here sniffling and coughing and hacking. So I just watched them. Actually, I didn't even watch much. I was dozing off. I took some meds and I dozed off. So I missed you all. Had a good week. Got to the range a couple times. Made a whole bunch of videos. I got a new project. You probably saw the video. I think it released this morning or yesterday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Who'd have thunk a 57 maximum bolt action? I love it. So that's going to be fun. That's about it. Got some stuff coming up. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Gene, how was your week?
Busy. Lots to do at work. Man, we're sorting out like 60,000 pounds of brass. It's crazy in the shop. We got barrels everywhere, brass that's still got to be sorted out. That's already been sorted partially. Crazy. But I had a good week. Had a great week. Man, the boss today after work hooked me up with a bunch of reloading stuff. So I'll be shooting a video out there about that. And big shout out to Heath at Republic Ammunition. He's actually a good guy. Not only do I get direct deposit every week from him, he gives me a little bonus on the side. I'm just happy to be here tonight. And remember, we're going to have a good show. Good show. So, what about you, Six? How you doing?
All right. I've been doing pretty good this week. We had a good week at work and stuff. Came home nearly every day and was in there on that loading bench. I was loading more bullets. So, just been busy. That's about it for me, though. How about you, Walter?
Come on. There we go. All right. Yeah, I had a good week. I got some casting and some loading and I went to the range today and I tried to get ahead of the tariffs and I ordered 4 molds from MP Monday. They're supposed to be here today, but you sent them UPS this time. He usually goes FedEx, but they got hung up in Kentucky with a storm. So now they're not going to be here till Monday. I was disappointed. But anyway, those would be the last 4 molds I ever buy. I promise.
Yeah, right.
They were mostly 38s, and I only had one of his molds in 38. So anyway, got that taken care of, and today I shot the bunniest bunny fart round I've ever loaded and shot. I pulled the trigger on the first one. I looked at the guy next to me. I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "No, why are you laughing?" I said, "Exactly." There's this little bullet. It's a Lyman 358-101. It's a 75 grain wad cutter for 38. And you got to go back. You got to go deep undercover into the Lyman books to find load data for it. But it is there. 2 grains of bullseye. It was like 403 feet per second. Barely got out the end of the barrel. Less recoil than a 22 long rifle, maybe less than a 22 short. I don't know. It was no recoil at all, but it was interesting for sure. So you guys will see that in a couple weeks. I can't wait to put that one up. So it was interesting for sure. But other than that, yeah, typical week at Casa de Viejo. Cast, load, shoot, rinse and repeat. So how about you, Rebel? How'd it go for you today, or this week, or yesterday, or tomorrow?
This week, I've been preparing for the groundhog shoot, signed up around 120 people today. Still got to fill out some blanks for 10 relays. Possibly we'll go to 11. If I'm lucky, I might go to 12 relays. It's the factory class is pretty small, and the chance to win a $350 cash prize and a trip to the prize table, which we have pretty good prizes. That's a neat contest to get into. If you've got a really precision factory rifle, you could win that easy. And I've got a new guy that came in. He's kind of intimidated, but he's going to muscle through it. And he went over and he said, I didn't want to practice because everybody was laying there. And I said, dude, you got to be passive aggressive. I said, walk down through there, and the two guys that are bull crapping one another, I said, kind of toe one of them in the butt and go, hey, you've been here 30 minutes. Get up. I got to shoot. And he said, well, I didn't want to do that. I said, you'll learn. Do it. Otherwise I'll lay there all day. But it's going to be interesting tomorrow. It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees tomorrow. And then next week, they're forecasting lows in the 30s, probably high 20s up here. So, typical April, weather's wide open, but at least it's not going to be a monsoon tomorrow. I'll be worn out tomorrow, though. Worn out. After the match, everybody leaves. A few guys stay. They help me pack up everything and load the trailer up, and I'll barely be walking tomorrow. My back and knee will be jacked up big time. So, but I've already been called El Jefe in front of the old guy that used to run the match. So everybody said, "Oh, there's El Jefe," and I was like, "Okay, I like that respect." I'm the boss, so they know I'm a little stricter than Larry is. But I promised them I'd slow down the match this year. I've got guys that have shot the match that are scoring, but they've never scored before. So I usually run that match wide open. I mean, we're done with 10 relays in no time. And we're out of there by early afternoon, even with the egg shooters. Especially if the mirage and wind is bad, because not many people will hit an egg at 500. But I expect tomorrow will be we'll see some high scores. For anybody that didn't practice earlier in the week it was cloudy and overcast. If they're going to use that dope, they're screwed.
That's a fact.
That's all.
All right. Wow, how was your week?
My week was busy. One of my coworkers, for the last 4 days I've worked, has called in for one reason or another. So I've been by myself, and it's almost all I can do to keep product on the shelf before people pick it up and put it in their cart and leave. Just nonstop. I'm supposed to get off at 3. Wednesday, I let the afternoon get away from me. I looked at my clock just to see what time it was while I was in the middle of a set, and it was 2:45. I'm like, good Lord, I still got 45 minutes worth of cleanup to do. I didn't get out of there until almost 4:30. And that's getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and being there at 5:45 in the morning. It's long days when you're by yourself, because you walk out front and there's nothing out there because everybody's been buying it. So, what are you going to do? That's a good problem to have, but everything's going good on the home front. We're battling a chemical experiment with the swimming pool right now, but we're going to get on top of that very quickly. Other than that, everything's going great. I'm just living the dream and loving life. What about you, KY? What's up?
Another week riding a dozer around doing reclaim work. Got my weekend and I'm off this whole week. My wife's having surgery Monday, so I took the week off and could stay home and help her out, and got a few videos done and edited and ready to release, and hopefully I'll be able to get out this week and get some more done while she's laying around recovered. But guys, pray for Eastern Kentucky. All this rain right here potentially could bring flooding back.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness. Well, before we get too deep into our first topic of the night, first of all, let's welcome everybody that's watching. We're showing we got 27 of y'all out there already, so more folks come in as we go along, I'm sure, but we're glad to have each and every one of you with us. And we want to invite y'all to our meet and greet over at Rebels Place on June 30th and July the 1st, correct?
Yep.
And I think Kentucky, you going to be able to make it, bud?
It just depends on how much vacation time I got left.
It's going to be on a Monday and Tuesday. We're going to drive in on Sunday, which would be the 29th.
I'd love to. It's only 4 hours from me. But before I knew you guys were having a meet and greet, I got something else in the works. I'm gonna be going to Pennsylvania and spending a week with Rimfire Dave, and I've bought all the parts to build me a custom rifle, and I'm gonna go spend the week with Dave, and he's gonna build it and teach me and Justin all of his tricks and to the trade. And Justin's a machinist, so if Justin can learn from him, then he could potentially become a rifle builder, and that's a dream of his. So I'd already planned that before I knew you guys was having the meet and greet, but I've never custom built a 22 rifle, so I'm kind of excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal.
But we'd love to see you. You don't have to stay for the whole 2 days. If you can get by, just drop on by and say howdy and shoot some of them 22s. Yeah, man. So we just wanted to invite everybody and let y'all know when it is. Gene's coming. I'm going to be there. Rebel's going to be there. I think Garage Guy 879's coming. But we want to kind of continue talking about the evolution of the lever action rifles and repeating rifles. Y'all remember last week we talked a little bit about the Volcanic, a little bit about the Spencer, but what we focused on mainly was the 1860 Henry. And that was made by New Haven Arms Company in New Haven, Connecticut, right up there close to our buddy CW and
Yep, not far from me.
and Ricky Baird. And Glenn Davis, you got to tell us what mold you got from MP today. If you put that in the comments, I'm
He did. It's a 357 SIG mold.
He said it's a little bit too long in the ogive. But the SIG can be rough. It's got a short little neck, so if you don't have a compact bullet, it can be temperamental.
Jammy. Yeah.
Well, you don't have as much room there. It's got a very short neck, so it's a little more. Everything's a little more condensed in the throat area with the SIG.
Look who we got coming in here. Hey, Mark, how was your week, bud?
Real good. Real good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Shoot that contender yet?
I shot it last night.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
What do you
I'm
think?
a little bit all over the place with it, but I was trying a bunch of different ammo that I had, stuff that I'd loaded. I'll dial in a load sometime later, but it was just nice to get to shoot it.
Well, we're glad you're
I shot my
here.
14-incher the other day, and at 100 yards with a 1-power scope, I had 2 groups under an inch for 3 shots.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah, that barrel shoots.
Okay. Y'all want to get back to the lever action thing, or y'all want to trash that altogether?
No, let's keep going.
Let's go.
Who
Okay.
doesn't like a lever gun?
Do what?
Who doesn't like a lever gun?
Well, that's what I was thinking when I made this stuff up. No, seriously. So we talked about the volcanic, we talked about the Spencer, and we talked about the Henry 1860. And I'm going to try to point out some of the differences tonight if I can get a picture big enough to show you. But the problem with the volcanic was the caseless cartridge, basically a hollow base bullet with powder stuffed inside the bullet, then that caused a lot of jams. And we talked about the Henry using the copper case in the 44 rimfire, and they had a lot of ruptures with the copper case. But the next step in the evolution, and the reason we're going this way is because that's what became the Old West style lever action rifle that we're all familiar with today. Let me see if I can do this. And here we go. I got too many tabs open. All right, what we're seeing here is the 1866 Winchester. But when it was first introduced, it was, they referred to it as the improved Henry rifle, Henry repeating rifle. There was some court cases and arguments with Oliver Winchester and Henry all about this stuff. But the key features that persist here, can y'all see my little finger pointing right there? So if you notice that we still have the safety here, that you just rotate that tab and it allows the lever to come down and work the action, or you can fold it in this position right here and it works as a safety to keep the lever from opening. The big difference you'll notice is this wooden forearm right here, the foregrip, which was a big thing, because if you remember on the Henry, you had the magazine follower that came down the bottom of the magazine tube. But the biggest improvement between the 1860 and the 1866 is the King's improved patented loading gate. So now this enabled us to have the wood forestock, and so you don't have that magazine follower coming down this tube and binding up with your hand resting on it. The wood also insulated you from the heat, and the thing held like 15 or 16, Walter, do you know? I think it was in that number, 15 or 16. So
yeah, the original Henry would hold 1744 Americans.
Okay, the rimfires.
Yep.
And they were still that copper. I think by the time this 1866 came out, it was they had developed brass cases for that by then.
There's a really neat coffee table book here. It's got everything you want to know about Winchester. And in here, I just happened to be turning while Jamie was talking, I've got a price list. So the 66 came out. It was available as a octagon barrel sporting rifle for $23. It was $20 $23.50 if you wanted a half round barrel. It was $22 as a musket and $20 as a carbine. And then extras, you could get full nickel plating for $5 more, nickel plated trimmings for $3 more, silver plated trimmings for $5, gold plated trimmings for $10. Set triggers set you back $4. Mortise cover side for the 76 was $1. Fancy walnut stock was $5. Cut checkering for the fore end and the stock was $5. A pistol grip stock model for the 1876 in fancy walnut with checkering was $15. Now think of that. That's on a $23 gun. So
Yeah.
that's a lot. Case hardening was $1. Swivels and a strap were $1.50. Fancy wood and leather, canvas cases, cartridge cases, belts were also furnished at moderate prices.
How much was the How much was the Gus McRae veneer sight? He can't hit us from here.
So the carbine is a 20-inch barrel. The rifle is a 24-inch barrel. The musket is a 27-inch barrel, according to my research. And octagon is a choice for all of them, if I remember correctly. But most people bought the stock gun and the carbine.
Yeah, according to this, octagon was standard. Half round, half octagon was an option, and round was an option.
YouTube, we are not selling anything. These are prices from history.
Brent's bought a whole bunch of those things
from the 1800s history.
1860.
Yeah, two centuries ago almost, huh?
Turkey bought the most of them.
Turkey did? I knew France had bought a bunch, and they bought a bunch of that 44 Henry ammo too.
They bought France ordered 5,000 of them.
Wow.
And Turkey, I think they ordered 50,000 of them, which was like 1/3 of the total production.
Yeah, well, it was an amazing step forward if the guys you were fighting against had, single shot rifles, and all of a sudden you got a repeater.
Kind of depends on what that single shot is too, doesn't it?
Just ask Custer.
Yeah. He got beat down in so many different ways. It wasn't just that, because those Indians were shooting bows and arrows at him too, and Henry or Custer was up the top of the hill there, and they laid their horses down, but he forgot that with a bow you could do this.
Yeah, that was artillery back then.
It worked too.
Go ahead, Gene.
The list of countries and places that use this rifle is extensive.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously extensive. United States, Canada, France, Japan, Chile, Peru, Bolivia, Mexico, Ottoman Empire, Brazil, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Siam, Ethiopian Empire, Kingdom of Dahomey, South Africa, Great Britain, and Morocco.
Where the hell?
Now these are
Dahomey.
So what's up, Dahomey?
It's the Kingdom of Dahomey in West Africa.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's present day Benin.
Wouldn't the Ottoman Empire be Turkey?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, that just goes to show what the popularity of that new technology, which was technology of the day. And armies around the world literally were looking at that and go, goodness gracious, they can outnumber us 5-1, and we're still going to take them with this piece of gear.
Yeah, well, the rebels said the 1860 Henry was that gun they could load on Sunday and shoot all week.
Yep.
And
the old yellow boy.
But in the advancement of the 1866, they switched over to some centerfire conversions later on. but they still sold a lot of the 66s up to into the late 1870s because everybody was familiar with it. And even after the 1873 came out, they still were selling 1866 rifles. So they were
You think about this though. This is a bit off topic, but not. 40 years later, just 40 years later, they're developing the Browning machine gun. The Germans are developing their machine guns for World War One. So I mean, this is a period of super rapid change. We're going from black powder to smokeless. We're going from single shots to repeating rifles to machine guns. And
just in that short period of 40, 50 years, man, talk about fast forwarding technology.
Well, the key year there is 1873.
Mm-hmm.
The 1873 Henry and the Colt Single Action Army revolver came out in 1873. That's pretty good information Dave shared with us, as the government gave all those Henrys and 44 rimfire to the Native Americans as soon as the last rifle was handed over. They quit making the rimfire.
Typical U.S. government dirty trick. But
I'm pretty sure Jesus had something to do with the peacemaker. I mean, oh my Lord, that's just an iconic gun.
Yeah, it ain't ever going away, I don't think. I mean, it's just, everybody who enjoys shooting a handgun enjoys shooting that revolver, because it is not just a piece of history, but it's an important piece of history. If you can get in there and shoot that.
Thanks, Joe Legslinger. So we saw James Veskage was out there earlier. We're going to get to call out the side chat here in just a minute, and then we'll continue on this topic. Walk says his 1866 holds 14 in the magazine of a 24.5-inch rifle. My loads have bullets seated a tad deeper, get 10 rounds in the carbine. So I'm taking what cartridge is that, Walks? I'm thinking 4440 maybe. So yeah. So Walter, what are you thinking we should type in?
Oh, 1866. Too easy.
Exactly what I was thinking. So y'all type in 1866 and we'll call your name out on the TV. And Walter Walk said yes, it was 4440. That's what I was thinking. So and we're off the page here. So Walter made it up, so naturally he's going to be first. So Walter is in the panel and the side chat. So is Reloading from the Hot Pot. So is CW Longshot. Daniel God is my judge is out there. Texas 6 is on the panel and the side chat. Glenn Davis typed in 4440. That's all right. We know what you mean. Walks Fletcher is out there. Glenn Davis. Papa's Place Service Venator. Last of 3. Kyle Lusk is on the panel. Bama Dad is out there. Excuse me. Edward Petty. Dale Pogue. Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies is on the panel. Ron 2A Matters. Mac Man Reloading. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Mac.
Mark Thomas is out there. James Veskage is out there. Good to see James. Alaska 1 Andy is out there. Daniel God is my judge. And Mike Hester, the Rebel, is on the panel. So we are thrilled to have all of y'all with us. 34 y'all out there right now, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So Tim S. is also out there. So I think we're up to date with that. Y'all help me keep an eye out. So I'm really looking forward to doing talking about the 1873. Let me see if I can do this. No, I can't.
Since we're talking about the 1873, let's all pay a little homage to Val Kilmer, who died a couple of days ago, who played the best Doc Holliday there ever was.
You got
And
that right.
And yeah, I watched the news media sit there and talk about how he played on the Doors, he played on this, he played in Maverick, he played in. I'm like, y'all are just completely skipping over the best role ever, Tombstone. And I'm glad to see Tom Cruise pay him a little respect. He had a moment of silence at some venue. And Tom is weird, you know that. So,
well, the thing about Tom Cruise is they were approaching him about the Maverick movie, and he said, "I want Val Kilmer in it." And they went to Val Kilmer, and he said, "I'm not going to be in it because I can't talk." And
yeah, they digitally reproduced his.
Yeah, then Tom Cruise said, "If he's not in it, I ain't doing it."
Right.
And so they went back to Val with that, and he goes, "Well, if we can find a way to make it work, I'd be honored to do it."
And anybody that has not seen that movie is missing out, because it took Top Gun. They took all the girly, lovey crap out of it, and even though he's got a love interest, it's just badass. It really is.
It's one of my top
it's a
threes
fighter
of
jet
all time.
movie. Yep.
Yeah,
it's a fighter jet movie.
Oh yeah. My daughter was sitting in between me and my wife. We went and saw it at the movie theater, and I don't like movie theaters, but I went, and we went on like a Monday, and when like 5 people were in there, and she looked over at me. She said, "Dad, you're pulling G's." Like that. I was like, that whole canyon scene. I was sitting there driving the plane, oh man. But anyway, back to topic. He played in one of the best westerns there ever was, and I just loved him in that part. I quote that movie constantly.
You're a daisy if you do.
Well, I generally go. Someone comes in and they say something, or I say something, and they're like, "Well, what's your problem today?" And I will like, "Why, Mr. Smith? Are we not friends anymore? If we were not friends, I couldn't bear it." I'm sitting there tapping my pistol with my finger, like that. People just laugh. It's a big joke.
Are we cross?
That's it.
So I think it was a travesty. Oh, wait just a minute before I go into that. There's Ozark Spirit is out there, and KFW is out there, and glad to see Marvin. And yeah, Daniel's right. I'll be your Huckleberry. Say when.
Say when. That's my avatar.
Here we go. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. This is the 1860, Henry. Can y'all see those lines right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is how they loaded that 1860. You actually pulled the tab here, the gold tab.
Yep, you have to pull it all the way up.
Back, and then you turn this piece, and then, well, actually, this piece is the piece that rotates around the barrel, and then you load the tube this way, like a 22 rifle. Then you rotate that back and let that follower go. And
no, you don't. You ease it down in there because it'll snap down.
Yeah, you don't let it seek your bullets deeper. But yeah, so when we talk about the improvement, that's a beautiful piece of wood right there on that gun. This is the This one's in 4440 walks. 9 pounds empty. All right, now let's go back to the picture of the. I think we're done with the 1860s. So this is a big improvement. When you get this loading gate, the tube magazine is a complete circle. It doesn't have a slot cut in the bottom of it. So instantly you've got a cleaner operation. You've got a more the complete circle is a whole lot stronger than the one with the slot cut in it. So you're eliminating a lot of problems. But this King's Improvement side loading gate is a big deal in the evolution of the rifle. And I'm sure some of you guys could probably talk about the craziness that went on between Henry and Winchester and all that kind of stuff. But when the 1866 came out, it was the Winchester 1866. But when they first started making production, they referred to it as the improved Henry rifle. But they were still made in that same plant there in New Haven, Connecticut. But it became known as Winchester. And Oliver Winchester took control of Winchester. So realistically, the 1866 is the first Winchester rifle. That became Winchester Repeating Arms.
What the heck is that?
Somebody just flushed their toilet.
No, I think that's when Virgil got shot.
Oh,
I just re-plugged in my headphones, so that might have been the whoosh.
Okay, so we got Timothy Burkett's here now, too. Very cool, man.
hey, Tim.
So, Gene,
Yes, sir.
do you have that sign close by that we're going to give away during Hot Pot? What's Hot Pot got?
Yes, I do.
We need to start collecting names in the giveaway tool for that. We got 20 minutes.
Yeah, right on.
So if you would like to win this beautiful brand new sign,
10. It's the 10 sign.
10 sign. Don't tell these casters that they'll try to melt it down and use it in their mix.
This is compliments of Ms. Hotshot. She donated this to the chat to give away tonight.
Very cool, very cool. Let me create a banner right here.
That is a cool sign.
Oh, God.
All right. If you'd like to win that sign, type in, wait a minute before you do that. Okay, start typing in #happy and you'll win it. You'll get a chance to win that sign from Ms. Hot Shot.
And Mr. Hot Pot in the basement.
There we go.
Amen. Thank y'all.
Uh-oh. We got a sighting.
Go.
On 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Hit it, Gene.
West Coast weirdo.
Hiya, Mario.
What's up, brother?
So we
How's
got
it hanging there, buddy?
so we're up to 39 viewers, and I think every one of them's typing in #happy.
Everybody wants a chin sign like that.
That's a cool sign. That's really nice
It
of her
is.
to donate that for the chat.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So we got to keep that, man. That sounds pretty cool. #happy.
It's a good one.
Yeah, we're going to keep that around for a while.
Little
I
Ren
hope
and
I
Stimpy.
win. I did lose on the shoes that last go around. I wasn't happy about that.
Little Ren and Stimpy in there. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy.
Okay, so back to the topic for a minute. And Mark, if you know anything about this, any of y'all know anything about this. So I don't understand all I know about how typically what happens is when a man designs a firearm, the company that's going to produce it will buy the patent from him and give him X amount of money for that patent. On rare occasions, they would get royalties, as in I get 50 cents for every one that I'm going to get $500 now plus 50 cents for every copy you sell, right? But that was the exception rather than the rule. Well, they worked out a deal with Henry and Winchester about Henry producing the guns in that New Haven firearms factory, and then he sold them all to Winchester, and Winchester sold them all. And I think this was for the 1866, the improved, because the basic design is still Henry's, right? But this guy named, I want to say Norton King was the one who invented the side loading gate. And it's really cool how that works. That's just a piece of spring steel. It's held in the back of the receiver with one screw.
Right.
And the dome where you push the bullet in actually is shaped and fit in such a way that it holds the next cartridge in place,
Keeps it from backing out.
keeping it from jamming up the receiver and the elevator lifting it, and the bolt coming back up.
And that really was a major improvement. That was a big deal
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah,
Getting away from that spring follower and the 1860, that thing is to load that thing, you got to compress the spring by running that follower all the way up to the last 3 inches of that long barrel, and then while you're holding it, rotate that piece around, and and then load your bullets. And if you let that thing go, there's a lot of spring pressure down there. It'll come down there and smack the top of your bullets and sink them all another 1/8 of an inch down in. And that doesn't happen with that side gate.
right. But you still got the whole recoil thing working on it every time.
Yeah, you're still under spring tension, but
Yeah, plus the recoil.
I put a new trigger in my 73 last weekend. I've been practicing with it. It's the first time it ever jammed on me, so I had to use my screw knife that I got for Christmas. First time I had to use it to get that unjammed. Worked pretty good.
So, Mark, you know anything about the Winchester Henry thing? I don't think they went to court or anything like that.
No, my experience with lever actions doesn't really go back that far.
Right. I know. I can't wait till we get to talk about the Marlins. And, Thorzak's touched on it earlier.
Marlins are pretty reliable, but when you go into trying to go for speed, the 73s are it.
Well, yeah, you're talking about two different things there, though.
Yeah. Still, the Marlins to me seem a little more finicker about, bullet lengths and stuff.
So, Daniel, you talking about my dogs? Yeah, they saw a squirrel fart or something. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right, Kyle. I've got frogs. So, you know how it is. How hot are y'all down there?
It was
It's
87
humid.
today.
Yeah, it's humid. It's crap today. It's going to be bad tomorrow.
Yeah, Sunday we're supposed to get blown away like we live in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Then Monday and Tuesday, where Monday's a
Coldest.
high of 56,
Yep.
Tuesday's a high of 45.
Yeah, we got lows in the 30s and high 20s.
And we got pollen counts of 14,000. It's only 7,000 today.
No,
You know,
it's 14. It's 14,000 million, Kyle.
They consider 500 extremely high and dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, 14,000, nice nothing.
Yeah, that's why I feel like crap.
That's why everybody feels like crap down here.
Mm-hmm.
There's our buddy thoughts of an old soldier. He said skeeters are bad.
Yeah. that they are.
Bama Dad Blackberry winter's a real thing, dude.
I remember in '93, we all went camping thinking everything was nice and kosher, and woke up at 2:00 in the morning with the tents collapsing under feet of snow. And then, actually, not even in the morning. It was probably like 2:00 in the morning, and we sludged back off the mountain and got back to the house, and we were stuck in the house for 5 days with no electricity, no water, no nothing.
I was 100 miles away from the house up in the mountains. Took my then girlfriend, soon to be fiance, and now wife camping, and parked to pop up, set up camp, cooked her supper. We went to bed, had a skunk get in the garbage that night. I went out barefoot, buck naked, looking for what was rattling the garbage, with a big hog leg, and shined the light under the camper, and I saw that skunk staring at me, and I said, buddy, you can have that garbage. I took it and chucked it about 30 feet from the camp. Eat it. Go ahead. We went back to sleep, woke up the next morning, and I could hear something whispery. And I was like, what is going on? I looked out, there was 6 inches of snow on the ground. Me and my buddy were supposed to go trout fishing. He showed up that morning, and he was like, behold, the trout fisherman. I was like, yeah, no doubt. He's got a picture of me on the South Toe River casting a fly rod in 6 inches of snow.
That's all you got was 6 inches of snow?
No, that's not all they got. We got, I think total was about 8 inches, but it was gone the next day.
We had 6 feet, and it stayed here for almost 2 weeks.
6 feet in Georgia?
The first time in my life I've ever seen thunder and lightning during a snowstorm.
I've seen thunder and lightning during a.
Jamie,
You didn't have no 6 feet of
Jamie,
snow.
am I hallucinating? We had 6 feet snow drifts on the street in front of my house.
Okay, snow drifts. I
I'm not
get it.
kidding.
Yeah, I believe
There was
you.
probably 2.5 2.5 feet in the yard, maybe 3 feet in the yard.
We had thunder and lightning during an ice storm one time, and that was bad juju. I mean,
It's
bad.
spooky. It's spooky as hell. Yeah.
He's talking about the blizzard of '93,
March 13th.
March
Yeah.
13th, which was a Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my son
Yes,
was
sir.
born. My son was born in January, and he was a month old. I lived in a 1969 mobile home, single wide. The snow was blowing through the windows. it was bad. Anyway, we lost power, and unfortunately, I had to go over to my ex-mother-in-law's house, and I made up an excuse that night. I better go check because we ain't got power and we got a lot of meat in the freezer. Well, I took the meat out of the freezer and threw it out in the yard. I think it froze harder.
Yeah.
But I got away from the mother-in-law.
We were cooking and washing clothes and everything on a wood stove that was in the house, and trying to feed my parents, me and my sister, and 5 of my friends that got stranded on our camping trip, and we're here for 5 days.
Yeah.
We didn't have that kind of food storage at the time.
My son, he was a baby then. He had a pink eye, and we found one pharmacy that was open, and he said, "Yeah, I got some sulfur drug." So me and my ex-daddy-in-law, we drove to a little old town, and I was looking, and I was in an '88 Bronco 2, which was a great little old vehicle, and I'm looking at the side, and I'm like, I'm driving. The mailboxes ain't 2 feet out of the ground. You know, I'm riding. Like if I swerved this way or that way, I could just take out somebody's mailbox. Just the top, not the post. It was bad.
So yeah, the CW says we make him laugh talking about snow, but
Hey,
yeah,
it's a big event here, CW. If it's bad, you know.
Well, I know you're not
We're
set
not
up for it.
equipped to handle it.
You're not set
No.
up for dealing with it, you know, but you know, it makes me laugh.
it seriously was 18 inches. CW.
I've plowed snow that went over the hood of the truck.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. A Connecticut
That's not
snow.
drifts. That's not
Yeah,
drifts.
it was a Connecticut snow in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and we were like, "What the f?" You know.
You
I'll
couldn't
put it to
open
you
the doors
this
of the
way:
house.
my neighbors across the street, they had just moved in from New York, and they were in shorts and t-shirts snow skiing down the hill. I'm like, y'all are crazy. We're trying to round up firewood and keep the fires going so we can cook and wash clothes. Or at least dry clothes out, because, you know, us kids, we couldn't stay out of the damn snow.
When you gotta get out of your house and shovel out the vents on your roof so you don't suffocate, then you've seen snow.
Yeah. Well, I had to kill my horse and gut him and crawl inside of him to stay alive.
Oh boy, here.
All right, Luke. I thought these things smell bad on the outside.
On the outside.
Exactly.
Perfect. We get snow here in California, just not over here by the coast. Up in the Sierra, up at 14,000 feet. They get a little bit up there.
Yeah. Been there.
Just like Mount Charleston in Vegas, I got snowed in June. I got stopped by the state patrol on my way back down. What are you doing up here without snow chains? I said, hell, it was 80 degrees when I came here. I ain't got snow chains. I'm driving my girlfriend's Lexus. I ain't got any damn snow chains. You're not supposed to be here. Well, the sign wasn't lit up when I got here.
Yeah, Artax said his car was frozen to the ground in Kentucky.
Yep. It was different. I hope we never have to go through it again. We had cats at the time, and cat wanted out so bad, just sitting there begging to go outside. So Dad got mad, opened the door, and just grabbed the cat and threw it out in the front yard. and then we started hearing all this weird noises. The cat landed exactly where Dad threw it, and it couldn't move because his feet were all the way. He was just floating on the snow. It was like, ah.
So y'all think we're bad? Our pets are, yeah.
Yeah. My Jack Russells, they see snow, they're like, what is this crap? You know, what is this crap? Of course, they're only 8 inches off the ground. So,
yeah, Gunner saw his first snow this year, and I let him out because he needed to go to the bathroom. And he's sitting there under the covered back porch there, and he's like, "What?" He's looking and smelling like, "What is this? What is this?" And I'm like, "Well, go on if you're going. It's cold." And he takes one step and realizes that, hey, there's still concrete under here. Off he goes. He's just snowbound. You know, he's sliding across the pool deck and up in the grass. And, you know, he's just having a ball.
I wish y'all seen. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kind of back to our topic. We're not a weather show, although we probably should be.
Well, I shot my horse with 1866, so.
Well,
and then,
you know, that's what I'm getting at. When we watch cowboy movies, do y'all recognize the lever actions that most of them are using?
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I do.
It's not a 1866. What I'm trying to figure out is how they were using 92s in a movie that's supposed to be happening in 1880 or
Right.
Jamie, that's called a gun blooper, and you're not supposed to notice that. Okay.
That's not a gun blooper, Rebel. That's laziness.
Oh, there's some huge ones, though, Jamie. I mean,
Most gun bloopers are, you know.
I've seen several movies that are pre-Civil War and they're using 1873 Colts.
what about Schultz there carrying a crag in Germany?
Yeah. Sure enough. Well,
I know nothing.
it looked military enough, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The average viewer is not going to know.
Yeah. No,
All they
they're
know is
right.
it goes bang. Lucky they didn't call them ARs.
that's another show, Jamie. We need to have a gun blooper movie, Hollywood gun blooper series. And
Most of the lever actions in deals, like Walt said, is the 92.
yeah, they're 92s.
Probably about 75% of them are.
Well, next week when we talk about the 73s, right.
So does the 66 use the toggle link? Is it like the 73s? I've
Yeah.
never been to one.
It's a toggle link, but it's a lot smaller. There's pictures of them. You can, and the Henry did. The Henry used that basic toggle link design of the 73 in the action.
Well, the 73 is newer than the 66.
Yeah.
Well, the Henry Model 60 is where it started.
Right. But I'm just saying, you're talking about the 66, and then you said the 73. Well, 73 was made after. So, yeah, it has the same as the 66.
The 73, the 66, and the Henry 60 all used that same toggle link. Those two.
And the 76 wasn't much different either, just a longer action.
Just a little bit longer. Then came the 76, which was bigger still, because that was for a higher power rifle. But we'll get into all that. So that was the thing that that Henry developed that made evolving into these guns possible. And then King's side gate, that was awesome too. So pretty cool stuff, man, I think. So by now, I think it's time for, are you ready, Gene?
Yep.
What's Hot Pot got?
Hot Pot brought something out that's commercially available today. Next couple of weeks, I'm gonna go through a series of, excuse me, of the cartridges that we use, maybe take for granted, maybe do not know a whole lot about. Maybe some do, maybe some don't. So those that don't, good time to listen in. Those that do, if you need a potty break, now's your chance. This is a 380 ACP. That projectile on top is 6-shooter Texans mold, cast and powder coated Blunicorn purple by Mr. Walter Viejo himself, loaded by me. It's got a nice little charge behind it, and they shoot really, really well out of my Sig Sauer P365 380. But I'm going to give you a little history about the 380 ACP. This is 380 ACP automatic Colt pistol. Colt, since we've been talking about some Colt stuff. Also known as 380 Auto, 380 Automatic, or 9x17 millimeter, is a rimless, straight-walled pistol cartridge that was developed by firearms designer John Moses Browning. The cartridge headspace on the mouth of the case, it was introduced in 1908 by Colt for use in the new Colt model 1903 pocket hammerless semi-automatic, and has been a popular self-defense cartridge ever since, seeing wide use in numerous handguns, typically smaller weapons. The other names for 380 ACP include 9mm Browning, 9mm Corto, 9mm Kurz, 9mm Short, and 9mm Browning Court, which is the CIP designation. Just a cool little cartridge. I love shooting my 380. It should not be confused with the 38 ACP. The 380 ACP does not strictly conform to cartridge naming conventions, named after the diameter of the bullet, as the actual bullet diameter of the 380 ACP is 0.355 inches. That's a nice looking little bullet there, isn't it? 6-shooter and Walter. I like that purple.
That's a beautiful powder coat.
The ballistics of these 380 ACPs is 90 grain, runs to 1025, 95 grain 980, 45 grain 1835, 100 grain 1160, and an 85 grain Norma runs 1280. The 380 ACP cartridge was derived from the Browning's earlier 380 ACP design, which was only marginally more powerful. The 380 ACP was designed to be a truly rimless and head spaces in the case mouth instead of the rim for better accuracy.
I wouldn't want to get shot by one.
Man, I don't want to be shot with a BB gun, let alone one of these. So I carry one of these when I'm in a minimalist. I carry a 380 ACP. I've got some nice hand loads in it that are quite a little punchy. They're probably going to expand if they have to hit something. Hopefully they never do, but better to have than have not, and that is for sure. But I also like the Stoner CNC. Good friends of mine gave me this hat. They're making some excellent muzzle brakes for 5.56, 223, 30 caliber, 9mm, and now 308. They also do CNC G10 grips for just about anything that you can put grips on. Really good company. They're local to me, and there's no tariffs on any of their products. Good American company. They're good friends of mine. I get to shoot with Matt and Eric Stoner all the time at the events. I've known them for a long time, and they're very, very good people, and they're worth your time looking. If you're looking for something like that, it's worth your time to go to their website, Stoner CNC, and check them out. But that is what Hot Pot's got.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. Walter, what powder coat is that?
That is from Prismatic, and it is, help me out, CACW. Which purple is that? I'll think of it in a Sinbad purple. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yep, Sinbad purple. That's a good powder coat. It goes on thin, relatively thin, comes out really slick every time. It never sags or anything like that. It's a good one.
Well, it
And
is
that mold's a good one too.
it's definitely sin bad.
Yeah. It's
That's
actually
what
one
I
of my
do all
favorite
our
ones.
cowboy loads with.
Yeah, it's a good coat.
Christine loves that color. I told her, I said, if you want to buy me a pound, I said, I'll coat all your bullets that when I cast them, I'll coat all of them that purple.
I'm almost out of it already. Gotta
All
get
right.
another.
Yeah. I've gone through a bunch of it. It's one of those ones that just works every time. It's like the old Ford Light Blue. I mean, that one works every time too, but the Sinbad purple looks better.
The Ford dark blue work. That's absolutely my favorite.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I do all my 40s in Ford dark blue.
The Ford dark blue, the Ford light blue, the Columbia's Georgia Bulldog red is one of my favorites. It works really well, not just because I'm a dog fan, but Jason Stewart sent me a pound of that stuff, and it works really well. And I ordered some prismatic Sinbad purple. I've not tried it yet, but I'm going to as soon as I cast up some of those cowboy bullets.
You'll like
Lee
it.
125 6.
I got some Sherwin-Williams metallic silver with that, and it works great too.
That's another one that works really good is the Chromachrome from Columbia Coatings. That stuff is awesome. I got a dummy round. I mean, that stuff looks like Harley Chrome. I ain't kidding, man.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I got to give me some of that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's
It
hard.
goes on looking gray, and you go, "There's no way this is going to come out looking like chrome," but boy, it does. You pull those out of the oven the first time, you go, "Good grief! I'm going to paint my whole house with this stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are you going to do when the sun comes out?
Put your
Sunglasses.
sunglasses on.
Look like Clark Griswold of the neighborhood in daylight.
There you are.
Hey, Gizzard Gary. Y'all tell Gizzard Gary howdy.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Here, buddy.
Howdy,
Love
howdy.
the knife. Love the knife.
I also
Hey,
ordered some when I ordered that Sinbad purple from Prismatic, I ordered some seafoam green because I really like that color on the tri-year Chevys and on Harley Davidsons. And then I messed up and took a picture and sent it to Walter and New Texarkana and CW, and boy, man, check out my new powder coats. And then I realized they were purple and seafoam green. It's like, yeah. I took crap for that.
Yeah,
So,
Prius colors or something.
You know what? Done right, those would be great hot rod colors, old school hot rod colors. Done
Yeah.
right.
I'll tell you a couple of other ones that I found from Eastwood. I just branched off and just started ordering stuff, see if it'd work. The olive drab green works really good.
Mhm.
The gunmetal gray works great,
Mm-hmm.
or gunboat gray, well, one or the other. Let's see. I like the what's the one that the Emperor turned us on to? That pink, lavender.
Light violet, maybe.
Yeah, pink light violet or something like that.
Yeah, the light
That
violet's
was
pretty
great.
good.
And the zombie green, which they don't call it zombie green, but that's what I call it. I like sprinkling a little red on top of it after I get them coated, and it all melts together. It looks like good old zombie bullets.
I
that's
did
cool.
some of those too. Use that lime green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sprinkle the red on top of it.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, I got one in the bathroom. You want me to go get it?
I did that for a IDPA Halloween shoot.
Nice.
I cast a bunch of those up and took them.
Put some
Gene, we
green.
forgot to
green
give the
on
sign away, dude.
No, I didn't forget.
Put some green
I
on
just-
your knee plat, and you'll have a green chip.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on Mr. J. Amy.
I know. I forgot. So, if y'all wondering what we're doing here, type in #happy to get a chance to win the sign up there. There's GGW Outdoors. Go Dogs.
Oh man, we got to do it again.
No.
No,
Let me
but you
blow
have it.
this
You
up.
haven't put it in. And now is your chance to put it in to win
Yep,
this
'cause
fabulous 10 sign given away by me and donated by Ms. Hotshot.
So we're going to give you just a minute to get those hashtags in. We got a couple of more. James Pugh joined us out there. Good to see you, James.
Hey, James.
Let me share screen. It's showing up. Showing we got 24 entries and we have 43 folks watching. So type in comments over there, #happy, and there's 3 more. So we're up to 28 now. Look at that. We'll give y'all another minute. Mike McClune's out there. Good deal. Minnesota Shooting Sports. So while we're doing that, let me ask Kentucky Rimfire a quick question. Do you remember the blizzard of '93, Kentucky?
I do.
It was bad, what?
Yep. Yep. I had a Volkswagen Super Beetle, 1975 model. It was my first car. And my dad said, go back that car out of the driveway. If it'll pull back in the driveway, me and you'll go check on the roads. And we went to town in that Volkswagen, and there was an order for emergency vehicles only to be on the road. And we was coming up on a roadblock, blue lights everywhere. And my dad said, hold on. And he bust through the medium, and we went back up the mountain, went home, and they were trying to chase us down, but nobody could catch us.
And your little Volkswagen.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, hey, they ain't very fast, but they go good in the snow.
Yeah, it's a good thing they don't go real fast because the brakes on them are pathetic, ain't they?
Yeah. We were going to the bowling alley one night and driving down the road, and I said, well, there goes somebody's wheel down the road. So, oh, wait a minute, that's my wheel. The spindle, wheel, and everything separated from the car.
Golly.
Gotta love it.
All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Somebody give me a countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll that beautiful bean footage. You got to be shitting me.
I was.
All right. See what happens when you count backwards? You win. That's cool. I like it.
Holy crap. I'm honored. And Gene, that is going to be posted proudly above my casting pot.
Congratulations, Kyle.
So you're gonna put this above your hot pot from the hot pot, huh?
I'm going to put it above my hot pot from the hot pot.
So
that is so awesome.
Well, email me your correct address, please. reloadingfromthehotpot@gmail.com.
You've got my address.
I want to make sure.
It hadn't changed.
I have it somewhere, but I'm not as organized as some people are.
I'll just text it to you.
That'll work too, sir.
Jamie,
Good
I'm
Lord.
on a bail.
Congratulations.
Okay.
I gotta go. I gotta go to bed.
Rebels got the groundhog shoot tomorrow. So congratulations to Kyle. Congratulations, Rebel. You were talking earlier about it might not make and all that stuff. So good work.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Good night, Rebel.
Good night.
Now,
Good night,
Jamie,
feller.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Rebel,
jump
rebel,
out too, Jamie, while we're paused here.
All right. Y'all, did you put your link out there?
No, I'm not that tech savvy, Jamie.
Hold on a minute.
Oh man.
Anyway, Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies will host Let's Talk Bench Rest as soon as we get off the air at 10 o'clock
Yeah,
Oh.
come over and see us.
on Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies channel.
Yeah.
If I'm still awake, I'll stop by. 4 o'clock's gonna come early because I'm probably gonna be alone again tomorrow, just because it's Saturday.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk barrel selection tonight for 22 rifles. If you're building a rifle or rebarreling a rifle, so should be some interesting conversation come out tonight.
So Daniel's going to bed too. So Chad, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
Mark, you leaving too?
No, I was just saying goodnight to Daniel.
Okay, good.
All right, guys, enjoy your night.
Go ahead, put the link
Thank
up.
See you
you,
later,
you too.
KY.
Night,
Good night,
Chad.
Tim.
Speaking of barrels, California's got a bill in front of us right now. They want to do background check to buy a barrel.
Yep, I heard about that.
It's
They
just
want to do a
ridiculous.
background check for you to buy ammo, don't they?
And pay a fee, a tax, 11%. It's like a poll tax, except for the Second Amendment. Yeah, it's crazy. But Pam Bondi's coming to town, going to do some business with California.
Did y'all see where Trump pulled the Secret Service from Biden and Hillary and Obama and all them? And the judge said that was illegal. He couldn't do that. So he took the people that he pulled out of the Secret Service for the DEI program and offered them as protection. And all of them declined it, saying they wanted people that were worthy of the job.
No, you get what you get. That's
Now,
it.
another good one is they tried to ban a bunch of government credit cards from a bunch of government officials, and a judge said, no, you can't do that. It's illegal. So they butted their heads together, and they said, okay, they can have their credit cards. They have $1 credit limit. That's true. He gave them their credit cards, but they only have $1 credit limit.
Good.
It's amazing. Anyway, enough of that.
Yeah. Bama Dad says that above the 11%,
Mm-hmm.
11% above the sales tax. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
And
All
they
firearms
wonder-
and ammunition.
They wonder why you're losing population like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're so far. California is so far in debt. They tax everything and anything. Don't they tax the miles on your car too?
No, not yet. They've been talking about it. But that 11% was supposed to go to gun safety programs. We hadn't seen anything.
Oh no, you won't.
They're stuffing that money somewhere else.
The Department of
Buying phones
Education
for
is
the
supposed
illegals.
to make sure kids are getting educations, but
Hey, Mrs. Hotshot, thank you so much.
she said she's
Okay.
happy you won that.
That was really nice of her to come up with that. Something she knew any of us would like.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the link to Kentucky Rimfire to his show after us. Yeah, I can't get over how they tax everything so bad in California. And I was before Willie passed, I was talking to him. I said, "Man, won't you stay in Georgia?" And he's like, "Well, they'd charge me a tax if I left." I'm like, "What?
Good
What
luck
are you-
collecting.
What are you at? Yeah, how can you collect that?
I'm gone. See ya.
Bye."
It's just like New York. You figure in all their taxes, they take in, let's see, I think it's like 63% of every dollar you make. And then if you die, whatever you have left, they get like 80% of it in a death tax, like you meant to die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't afford to die in New York.
There's another state somewhere that charges that tax if you leave the state.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which state it was, though.
Like I say, good luck collecting it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's taxation without representation. And that's in the Constitution.
Yep.
So eat it every day.
You're such a rebel.
No, he's over there. No, actually, he went to bed.
You went.
I'm thinking about it. Ooh.
You got to get up early again, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm off on Sunday, so that's good.
Now you're talking.
I'm sure my wife will do what she did to me yesterday and put me to work around the yard and in the pool. I was ready to go back to work this morning at 4 o'clock. Give me a damn break.
Yep.
Everybody say hi to Rollis. He's driving.
Hey, Rollis.
Yeah.
Hey, Rollis. Hey, Rollis, I got 2 of those crates that you did your video on last week. Those things are killer. They're a little pricey, but they're, to get them shipped, the shipping price was kind of high, but they're everything you said they were, man. I got a 2-pack and they're great.
Which little totes? I didn't see that. Video.
Rollis did a video with, it's like a foldable milk crate. They fold down to about a couple inches, including the lid, and they're rock solid. They, the 2 sides and the 2 ends open up, and you can use the top or not. And they got like a little hatch in one of the sides, just kind of a little toggle you squeeze with your fingers, and the side opens down so you can get into the crate if you got them stacked, or if you got a lid on it, you don't want to pull the lid off. And like I said, they fold down really flat. I bought one to put in the trunk of my sedan, to throw the groceries in and whatnot, to keep them from rolling around in the trunk back there. And I got one in the pickup.
How big are they? Ballpark.
Milk crate size. Well, they make them in different sizes. I'll take it back. They make a bigger one, and I'm gonna say, what's a milk crate? 16
square.
by 20 or something like that. I don't know. And same depth. Just think of a milk crate. Might be a little longer than a milk crate actually. But if you find, go to his channel, and he just did this video last week, I think. Might have been earlier this week. And he had a discount code for you too.
I wonder if I'm unsubbed from him, because I hadn't seen anything he's done in a minute. Huh.
I'm way behind. I'm trying to catch up.
Could have been on his Rumble channel where I saw it, now that I think about it, but
He did post a bunch to Rumble this week, I think it was.
All right, it might be on Rumble. I only go to
Okay.
Rumble for a couple of things. Usually it's Walter's channels.
yeah, it probably was on Rumble where I saw it, but yeah, it was a good product.
It's amazing how we can just be skimming around the World Wide Web and come up with something really cool that, hey, maybe maybe some other people will find some use out of this. You know, I
Oh,
didn't-
maybe Garage Guy said it was Bald and Curious. Okay, maybe it wasn't Rawless. It was I guess it was Bald and Curious. I guess it was Val who did
it was
that one.
Val.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one either. I've
There's-
been noticing I've been unsubscribed to a lot of channels.
YouTube's been doing that again. They kind of do that they go in spurts and
Yeah.
unsub you.
Well, see, that's one of the things. As Val did a video doing a giveaway, and he's giving away a really nice prize too. And he's wondering why nobody had entered. There's only like 2 entries, and Gene's one of them. And it's like, I didn't see the video. I didn't get a notification for it personally, but yeah, it ain't like I'd have seen it anyway.
All the stuff that I've been seeing from Val has been on Instagram. I hadn't seen anything from him on YouTube in a long time. I thought he quit posting videos.
Yeah, it was him. I'm looking at the video right now. Must have in your car and truck.
Huh.
Yep, that's it.
That
Is it on Rumble or YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay.
Really?
That'd definitely be nice in the back of the Sonata.
Oh yeah, it's a nice product.
I got a whole back seat in the back of the truck that I can't use because I can't get the third door to open.
It matches, man.
One of these days I'll have one of them stickers.
Got one of these too.
I got one of them. I got one of those Saturday.
I don't have one of the new ones.
Defend the second, plead the fifth. U.S. Law Shield. And these are all going on my gun cases.
I bet that's what I was telling my wife last week. It's like I got a bunch of stickers. Matter of fact, it was CW's, and I said I got a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna put on my gun cases. I just keep forgetting to do it.
I put a bunch of y'all stickers on the dog food tub.
Don't put them on your car. Put them on your gun cases. You know, like those hard cases that you put.
Mm-hmm.
I got one right over there, but probably shouldn't show.
Oh, there you go, Tread. Thanks. Tread put a link out to Val's video on those crates.
Preachers out there.
Let me go to the handy dandy phone here. See what I can come up with over there.
Good to see you, Preacher's Day off. And Ricky's out there. Ricky Baird, my brother. You know, you ever meet some people, and it was like that with Kyle when I met Kyle, and you know, and I'm sure it'd be like that with all you guys on the panel if we ever met, like me and Gene, for example, and Kyle, and you know, me and Kyle met on YouTube doing YouTube videos, and it's like we only live like 25 minutes apart, but if it wasn't for YouTube, we'd never know each other. But some people you meet and you just feel like you've known them all your life. And it's that way with me and Ricky, and shoot, me and Preacher too, man. Me and Preacher and Kyle had a great time the one time we met up together. Preacher, next time you get out this way, we got to do that again, man. That was big time fun.
It was. That was a great evening.
You know, you're right, Jamie. I mean, when I met Ricky, it was like I got out of my car and he got out of his truck, and it was like, "How you doing? How you doing?" Okay, wait, what are we gonna eat? You know, just like somebody you've known for a long time.
Oh yeah, Walter, that looks pretty dang cool right there. Yeah, I see how he's got them all stacked up in the bed of his truck. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the coolest things is you can pull that little side hatch open and reach into the crate without having to go in through the top. That was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I was unsubscribed to him. I had to redo it. There we go.
Y'all ready for the verse of the week tonight?
Let's do verse of the week.
Yes,
I got to leave right after the verse of the week, but I'm staying for the good stuff.
All right, so we're going through the 7 I am statements that Jesus made that are recorded in the gospel according to John. So tonight is the fifth I am statement, and it's recorded in John chapter 11 and verse 25. But we're going to back up a little bit, and I'll get to that in a minute. And some kind of maybe a little bit of funny verses here on the end, and they're not funny. I mean, this is Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. I guess funny, not ha ha funny, maybe odd funny, maybe peculiar. But we're going to look at some of that. So John chapter 11 and verse 23, Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Verse 25, Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this?" Verse 27, she says to him, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." So basically what's going on here is they had came and told Jesus that Lazarus was sick. And then he stays where he's at for 2 more days, and then it takes him 2 days to get there to Bethany, 2 miles outside of Jerusalem. And by now he's dead. And let's look a little deeper. So I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. John 11:25. Explanation of this verse is Jesus is our guarantee of eternal life. When Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life," Martha's focus was on the final resurrection at the end of the age when Jesus will raise the dead. However, Jesus was going to show the world that his statement wasn't empty words. He raised Lazarus immediately and called Martha to a personal trust in him as the one who alone has the power of death. And in John 17:2, Jesus said, "And this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent." If you believe in Jesus, you have eternal life. It's guaranteed. Period.
Mhm.
And these comments go on and on. David Guzik, who I absolutely love, he says there, quote, "Jesus did not claim to have resurrection and life or understand secrets about resurrection and life. Jesus instead dramatically said that he is the resurrection and the life. To know Jesus is to know resurrection and life. To have Jesus is to have resurrection and life." Charles Spurgeon there says, "She looked upon the resurrection and the life as things that were to be in some dim and misty future. No, says Christ, I am the resurrection and the life. Not only do I get these things by prayer from God, but I am these things." Charles Spurgeon just puts it like it is.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what all of this book is all about. It's about Jesus almost pulling every trick in the book, not trick, but using all of his know-how to get people to listen to his words, because he's talking to people who it must be from Iowa or something. You got to show me. We're not going to believe it unless you show it to us, unless you do something for us, which I think kind of irked Jesus. He some of the language that's in here. It's all, I get the feeling that he's kind of really, guys, what's a guy got to do to get you to listen to him? I'm over here, raising the dead and turning water into wine and walking on water. So you guys, you got to realize that what we're talking about is not about earthly stuff. It's about just as Jamie is saying, I am the resurrection. It's not like I'm going to get resurrected. I am the life. I'm not about life. I am the life. I am the resurrection. And that's an important distinction, I think.
There's another commentator I wanted to quote here, Walt. Well, actually, two more. Apart from him, capital H, apart from Jesus, there was neither resurrection nor life. And that's Dodds. John MacArthur says, this is the fifth in a series of 7 great I am statements of Jesus. And he lists them. With this statement, Jesus moved Martha from an abstract belief in the resurrection that will take place, quote unquote, at the last day, to a personalized trust in him who alone can raise the dead. No resurrection or eternal life exists outside of the Son of God. Time at the last day is no barrier to the one who has the power of resurrection and life, and for he can give life at any time. So Jesus goes on and at this point, he verse 35 there says Jesus wept. Then the Jews said to him, see how much he loved him. When we get to verse 35 there and we talk about Jesus wept, was he weeping over Lazarus because he knew he was fixing to raise Lazarus back from the dead? He was weeping over their condition, the condition of their heart, as I've told y'all many, many times. Now to something a little humorous in my opinion, and y'all help me out here. So after Jesus has this confrontation or this interchange, it's not a confrontation, but his interchange with Mary, with Martha rather, he runs into the little sister Mary. Mary says, then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. What is that sounding like? Well, go back to verse 21 when Martha first laid eyes on Jesus. What did she say? Now Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Are they blaming Jesus for their brother, for Lazarus passing away? It kind of sounds like it, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
But here, the big takeaway here is before they see Jesus raise Lazarus from the dead, they know that Jesus has power to heal. They know that Jesus can heal the sick. He can heal the blind, give them back their sight, and all that. Now they're fixing to see true power. They're about to see the man God who can and has overcome the grave, has overcome death. Now, this is the thing. Either, and I've said this before, we're coming up on Easter. Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead right here in John chapter 11. So did he or did he not? Was he resurrected after he died on the cross? Because Paul says himself that if Jesus is not resurrected, we are most pitiable above all men. Well, I'm one of the ones who believes that Jesus was born of a virgin. He lived a perfect and sinless life. He died on the cross for your sins and mine, and he was raised from the dead the third day. Now, you can call me what you want to, but I'm one of more than 2 billion people on this earth that believe that.
Yes, sir.
And that's the verse of the week.
Yeah. And can you guys imagine what was going on in the minds of those folks? You know, when this occurred. I mean, here's Jesus. He says, "Lazarus, come on out here." And here comes Lazarus, and he's bound hand and foot, and his face is covered with cloth, and he's all wrapped up in the grave clothing, whatever they called it back then. And Jesus has to tell those folks that go untie this guy. and there he is, as alive as you and I are right now, when he'd been in lying in the grave, and as Martha said, and he stinketh after being there 4 days. And here he comes, probably hopping out of the grave until he gets untied. And that had to be just really beyond an amazing sight for those folks to witness. You got to kind of I try to imagine that I'm one of those people there, and it's not that hard to do. I try to put myself in their shoes, and what would I be thinking if I saw that happen? And be no doubt in my mind, I don't know about you guys, about who the boss was, for sure.
Yeah. Look at these comments over here. Look at these comments.
Yeah.
Unwrap it. Preacher said, unwrap him. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is power right here. When Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead, he says, Lazarus, come forth. You know why he said Lazarus? You do, don't you? Because if he hadn't have pointed out to Lazarus, all of them would have come out.
Would come out.
That's power.
Pretty amazing stuff. I'm telling you guys, since you started on the IMs, I've been reading John, and as ADD as I am, it's hard for me to read more than a chapter at a time, and I'll sit there and I'll be looking at the words, and then my mind goes off wandering. Well, what would I be thinking if I was Martha? What would I be thinking if I was Simon Peter? And seeing, and next thing I know, I got to go back to chapter 1 and start all over again because I forgot what I read. Last night I was reading that part in chapter 2 about the wedding and I almost laughed out loud, one part of that. But anyway, the wedding over by Galilee. You guys know that short little story about the governor. Apparently, in those days, when there was a wedding, there was a guy who was called the governor, and he was like the MC or the DJ or the person who runs the wedding or something. I don't know what these guys did, but Jesus and the disciples get invited to this wedding, and they're like, "Why are we here? Why did you invite us?" And then Jesus sees that Mary's there, his mother's there. And so he and the disciples are kind of looking around, and it's like, can we get a glass of wine or something? And Mary goes, these guys don't have any wine. Jesus says, well, I think I know what I can do about that. And so he asks some of the servants to go get him some jugs of water. And Mary tells the servants, I could just see her. Just do whatever he says. And they do. Turns the water into wine, and the servants got to be looking in there going like, what? And Jesus says, don't just stand there. Take a glass of this over to the governor. But here's what the governor says, and this tells me that those folks are just like we are today. Governor takes a swallow of this wine, and he says, man, this is some good stuff. He says, every other wedding I've been to, the bridegroom, puts out the good wine first, and as soon as everybody's about half drunk and can't tell the difference, then he brings out the $2 chuck, the cruddy stuff. Says, but not you, man. You kept the good stuff for last. That could happen in today's day, Interesting book of the Bible to get through and read. So many good stories, and all of these I ams are connected to one of the miracles that he's just got done doing. And I'll shut up. I'm done. I shouldn't be spouting off.
Hillbilly.
You ain't right, brother.
Maybe that's why Jesus said, get those wraps off him.
Loose him.
No wonder he stinketh.
I love John's gospel. I love the book. I love the whole thing. and those Old Testament stories, the stories and the history is
Mm-hmm.
just great, man. Good stuff. Thank y'all for indulging me, and I hope it makes a difference in your
You bet it
relationship
does.
and with the Lord and how you look at life. And,
Guys, I gotta pull out. I got folks waiting on me, so I will say good night and thanks for the invitation as always to be here. I thoroughly enjoy it, as you know, and God willing, and the creeks don't rise. We'll see you all next Friday night right here.
buenas noches.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody. Thanks, Jamie.
All
Good night,
right.
guys.
Right.
Nice dinner.
Beans and nachos.
Good night, preacher.
Good night, Preacher's Day off.
Good night, brother.
Luke is awesome too, MCK. Him and Matthew and Mark run a little bit parallel. So, anything else we need to talk about, or do we just start going through the room and clearing the deck for Kentucky Rimfire? There's Ozzy just got in here. Night Guns and Water. Thank you, buddy. All right, so let's just go through the room and get out of the way for KY and his cohorts. Mark, you want to go first? Look like you got a little bit of a haircut, man.
Yeah, I did a little bit back. It was time.
Yeah.
No, just been a wonderful evening. Loving being here. Loving hanging out with everybody. I did get to shoot the 41 mag contender last night, but I didn't really shoot much video, and I was kind of all over the place because it was a bunch of different loads. So I'm gonna try to treat that thing properly and do a really good video. So it's gonna be a little bit for that, but it was nice to get to the range. Other than that, not too much in the plans for this week. Just making our way through, enjoying what we can. Seth's having a really good year at track, so been enjoying watching him. Thanks for having me. Been a good night. Hope everybody has a great weekend.
Thanks for being here, my brother. I appreciate you more than you know. So, Kyle, what are you up to, man?
Just doing better than I deserve, brother.
Absolutely, we all are.
Got a wonderful, dang near healthy wife again. Been eating steak for the last couple of days because she's finally cleared to eat real food. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that she's not going through the issues that she was going through. Everything seems to be cleared up. She's just slowly recouping, getting back to her old self and working me to death. Let's see. I got to work tomorrow again, but I'm off on Sunday. I don't plan on doing a whole lot on Sunday. We might go out and do some hiking. I might make a little just crappy hiking video. That way YouTube will get off my back. I've been getting emails that they've been pulling videos from 8 years ago. You know, I don't see why how they have the power to delete videos that were before they changed the rules. You know, that's like ex post facto stuff. Don't understand it, but I'll get something out. Let's see. I'm battling my chemical experiment in the backyard, dealing with 2 dogs, nursing my wife back to health, and taking care of the yard. I've been busy, and I need to go to bed. I'm tired. 4 o'clock's going to come early in the morning. All right, Six, what you got, brother?
Oh, not much. Been a good night tonight. I thought it was anyway. Supposed to be raining here all day tomorrow, so I'm going to stay in the reloading room. This past week, I have been in there pumping out as much as I can so I can get ahead of schedule on the cowboy stuff so I can get in there to load the fun stuff. Mr. CW up here found me some 350 max brass. We got to get started loading on that. I got the 7mm bench rest that I haven't messed with yet. I'm gonna try to powder coat a bunch of stuff Sunday so we can start loading stuff. So that's what I got planning on happening. So, what about you, Gene?
Oh, me? I'm just happy to be here tonight. Been a good chat. Congratulations, Kyle, on winning that sign. That was really, really cool.
I appreciate the heck out of it, brother. You and Mrs. Hot Pot too.
Oh, we're more than welcome, brother. More than welcome. I'll
You
get
know
that
it
mail.
will be displayed proudly.
Yes, I do, sir. Yes, I do. Let's see. I'm supposed to have a steel challenge match Sunday, but the high temp's going to be 43 and raining, so I don't think I'm going to go.
I don't blame you.
I like shooting, but man, nah. When it's in the 40s and windy and raining, I'm just staying home. I can always go to the indoor range if I need to, blow off some steam. But thanks for having me on tonight. Great chat as always. Good to hear from everyone out there on the side chat and see everyone on the panel. I wish everyone a blessed weekend. And, it's only once around the ride. So you always got to remember to keep blowing that smoke.
Ooh.
Thanks for being here, Gene. CW, what you got coming up this week, bro?
I got a couple of videos coming out about some contender barrels. Got a 41 Magnum video coming out, and I got another Harriet video coming out. I just did a Maximum video. I don't know if it's this week or not, but I might have a video also with the 3006 Winchester Classic Stainless. But I don't know if that's going to post this week or if that's next week. I got videos out into May, so I don't know what's posting when they get cleared to get posted, I guess. A lot of stuff going on. I've been playing with that 3006 quite a bit. I got some really, really good loads with Grand Slam bullets. I'm up near 3,000 feet per second, and I'm shooting 3/4 of an inch, so I'm really happy with that. Faster than I figured I would be. So really, really happy there. This 357 Maximum bolt action project is pretty cool. I should have had some parts today, but looks like it's going to be next week now. So I can start fitting on that stock. I need the bottom metal, and I got to make action screws, and then I can start working on the stock. I don't dare try without that because obviously if I go too far, I can't add it back. So, but there's a couple of things I want to do with that. A couple of places I could go with it, but we'll see. Once I get it in the stock, I can shoot it a little bit. I got to drill and tap it for a scope base. Probably going to put a red dot on it. It's only going to be a range toy, so that's all it really needs. It's not going to feed almost 100%. It's going to be a single shot because it's not designed for that rimmed case. It's probably a 757, so it's not designed for a rimmed case. It almost guaranteed it won't feed, but that's fine. Still going to be a lot of fun. That's about it. Probably have something else thrown in there. Been going good.
Very good, man. I meant to bring us up earlier. You guys that are still out there, if you're not subscribed to CW, you need to go over and do that. He's 10 away from 5K.
Woo!
So, big congrats, CW. We love you, brother. We hope you'll still come around and hang out with the low lives. So, with that, I'll also ask y'all for a favor, and I try not to ask for much, but I ask that you'd remember my sister, Raven, in your prayers. She's had open heart surgery last month, and she's back in ICU tonight. We think she's had another heart attack. So,
Oh no.
y'all pray for her. And other than that, man, thank y'all for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with me. And golly, man, we hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see y'all all next Friday night at 8 o'clock.